Today on the spot, we got demos of SOCOM U.S. Navy SEALs Fireteam Bravo 3 on the PSP and White Knight Chronicles on the PlayStation 3. We go on location to a single-player event in San Francisco for Battlefield Bad Company 2, get caught up on the latest this week on Wii Shop Channel, and Jody Robinson spotlights you, the community, with the latest emblems, mod of the month, and more. Capcom rolls through with a preview of Resident Evil 5 Gold Edition, and we give away Star Trek Online and some SOCOM business. Today on the spot.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Today on the Spot. My name is Brian Eckberg, normally joined by Sophia Tong here on Tuesdays, but we've got Sean McInnes here today.
That's right, I'm filling in for Sophia today. Brian, I gotta get this out of the way right now. You're wearing a tie. Why are you wearing a tie?
I'm wearing a tie for a very specific reason. Now, we do this show a lot, of course, and we pay attention to the comments. And every time I host the show with Sophia, I always see the same comments. Oh, Sophia, you're so cute. Oh, Sophia, I want to get married to you.
Yada, yada, yada. Sophia freaking Tong.
Sophia freaking Tong. Oh, I'm not going to let this hostage go unless you email me. It's just the same old stuff. And frankly, I think it's unfair.
It's true.
I'm frankly sick of it.
That's true, Brian. I gotta say, I appreciate you sticking up for our female editors. They should not just be judged by looks alone, you know? It's the 21st century.
What? No, that's not it at all. That's completely wrong. It's because we're cute too, okay? I'm wearing a GD tie. Do you understand it? So it's like, I think it's time that we got a little love.
Your little star for attention, I get it.
So let's see some comments for us because...
You're wearing a tie. Brian, you look good.
Thank you. You do too. You're wearing plaid.
This is like my 5th best plaid shirt. It only has a little bit of a meatball sauce stain on it. I feel like I'm looking good today.
You look great.
I want to see some love. Show us some attention once in a while, guys.
The guys need love too. But hey, we've got a really full show for you guys today. I'm going to run through some of this stuff. We've got a demo of SOCOM U.S. Navy SEALs Fireteam Bravo 3. We got this week on Wii. We've got a demo of White Knight Chronicles. We've got on location for Battlefield Bad Company 2 and trivia stuff to give away as well. So let's get to all that first by kicking it off with the news.
Hey everyone, it's your GameSpot news update for Tuesday, January 26th. I'm Tor Thorson. With the first quarter of 2010 nearly done, Q2 is already coming to focus. Early this morning in Japan, Capcom dated several major games, including Super Street Fighter 4, The Refighting. The game will ship for the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 on April 27th in North America and April 30th in Europe. Much like Super Street Fighter 2, Super Street Fighter 4 takes a pre-existing game and remixes it primarily by adding new characters. Super 2 veterans T-Hawk and DJ will mark their returns to the series, and Korean Taekwondo expert Juri will appear for the first time. Other familiar faces include Cody, Guy, and Adon from the Street Fighter Alpha series. Capcom has also dated its eagerly awaited sci-fi shooter Lost Planet 2, The Replaneting. The sci-fi action sequel will launch on May 18th in North America and Europe on the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. Set 10 years after the first game, Lost Planet 2 sees much of the titular world's frigid tundra replaced by large swathes of jungle, courtesy of some terraforming. This campaign will follow the player and 3 non-player characters with an emphasis on online 4-player co-op. Speaking of co-op, Lost Planet 2 will feature cameos by Gears of War's Marcus Phoenix and Damian Santiago. However, Capcom has not clarified whether or not the Gears of War characters will be included as part of the original game or a subsequent DLC pack. However, given the Gears game's Xbox 360 exclusivity, don't expect the characters to appear on the PS3 version. Well, that's it, your GameSpot news update for January 26th. For more headlines, head on over to news.gamespot.com.
All right, thanks for that, Tor. Now it's time to take a look at this week's new releases.
With BioWare's epic fantasy Dragon Age Origins still in the minds of many role-playing game fans, the Canadian studio is already returning with the sci-fi offering Mass Effect 2. Available for the Xbox 360 and PC, it picks up to where the acclaimed original Mass Effect left off, taking backup with Commander Shepard as he recruits a new crew on his ongoing quest to halt the Reaper's threat to the galaxy. The Mass Effect 2 Collector's Edition will be available for $70 on the Xbox 360 and $60 on the PC, $10 more than the standard edition price. SOCOM veteran Zipper Interactive will deploy their new military action game MAG exclusively on the PS3 this week. The multiplayer-only online shooter features up to 256 players in a single game. Each player will assume a different rank on each side, viewing the battlefield according to his or her station. Commanders will see the action from a top-down view, from which they can direct lower-level soldiers, who will see from a first-person point of view on the front lines. The Wii actually has a pair of high-profile titles hitting this week: Grasshopper manufacturers No More Heroes 2: Desperate Struggles, and Capcom's Tatsunoko vs. Capcom Ultimate All-Stars. The former sees players again assuming the role of spastic Travis Touchdown 3 years after he ascends the ranks of the United Assassins Association. Meanwhile, Capcom's cross-brand fighter draws from more than 20 characters that populate the game publishers and Japanese anime production houses' respective character stables. For further details on the week's games, visit GameSpot's new releases page. Release dates are based on retailer listings and are subject to change.
So that's a look at the new releases coming out this week. Another game that's coming out just shortly is Brian's SOCOM US Navy SEALs Fireteam Bravo 3. I know you're a big fan of those original SOCOM games.
Absolutely.
This one's for the PSP, and Slant6 came by earlier. They dropped off some trivia giveaway stuff, and one of them are these sweet, like, Navy SEALs tactical PSP cases.
Okay.
It has like 8 bajillion pockets in it, and as far as I know, all you really need is like a PSP and some UMDs.
Yeah.
Why do you need 8 million different pockets in it? I guess that is a question that you have the answer to if you're a Navy SEAL.
Yeah, and we'll be giving these away at the end of the show, right?
That's
we have
right.
a trivia question that we'll be giving away. I think we've got 5 of these. So
We have a whole lot of those, some t-shirts
Oh, yeah.
as well. Before we get to that, let's get to the demo. SOCOM Fireteam Bravo 3. Let's take a look. Hey everybody, I am Sean McInnes, and today we're going to have a look at SOCOM US Navy SEALs Fireteam Bravo 3. I'm joined by Michael Kerr from Slant6. Michael, how are you doing?
I'm well, thanks. Good to be here.
Yeah, excellent to have you here. So, SOCOM Fireteam Bravo 3, what's this one all about?
So this is a follow-on to the really successful Fireteam Bravo 2. This time you've got 4 Navy SEALs running around a Baltic country that's in the midst of a revolution, and they're looking for an ex-KGB operative who sort of holds the keys to a WMD threat.
So one of the calling cards of this game is that it's got 4-player co-op throughout the campaign, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So you can play the campaign in single player, or you can play the whole thing in co-op as well.
And not only that, it's also got competitive multiplayer, which we're going to have a look at right now. So there's quite a bit of customization. So let's start with that one, okay?
Yeah, absolutely. So full character customization here. We've got tons and tons of characters in the game anyway. So it's kind of a part swapping system. You can, I couldn't begin to tell you how many combinations there are here, but you can see us running through. This is just the SEAL side of stuff.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And then we go through the mercenary side as well. So there's lots of stuff you can do. We also have a couple of special characters available through a pre-sale. So if you go out and pre-buy the game, you can get a German KSK character and a British SAS character as well for online, and they come with their own weapons.
Oh, nice, nice. Definitely a lot of customization. You can sort of put your own unique stamp on the character when you're in multiplayer.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's all based on the economy. So the more you play and the better you get, the better parts you're going to unlock.
So before we actually get into shooting people in the face, we're going to take a look at some of the options that you have to customize the game, right?
Yeah, for sure. So the game has 8 unique multiplayer maps. They're kind of themed around the single-player campaign, but they're totally unique. So you can go in and select a map, pretty standard, and then we have a huge amount of customization you can do for this. So 5 different game modes, including one that's new to SOCOM, our leader mode, which is really interesting because you have a leader character and you can spawn beside him, so it sort of changes the dynamic there. Full weapon restrictions, so you can open up that menu and lock out any kind of weapons you want or select anything, so it really changes the gameplay.
Yeah, it looks like you guys are definitely going to town on all the customization options. Between the outfits and this, it's quite a lot for a portable game.
Absolutely. I think the respawn style is one of the big things. So you've got a captive respawn system here where you can revive, set the amount of health you get when you revive. We've got a standard old school SOCOM, no revive at all, which is what all the rank servers play.
Oh, yeah.
And then we've got just a full normal standard respawn.
Cool. Looks good. Let's go ahead and get started with a match here. All right, well, it's never easy finding an online match before a game is actually out, but we managed to do it. Here we are in a competitive multiplayer match. What sort of mode are we in here, Michael?
So this is a suppression mode on one of our maps called Crimson Basin. So suppression is pretty much the standard multiplayer mode, team versus team. Take out all the other guys. You can see the score up there on the right side.
So if I'm brand new to the SOCOM series, I've never played a single one of these games in the past. I'm sure there's at least one or two of those people out there in the world. How would you describe the experience for me?
We tried to keep this game pretty accessible. You can notice it has a target lock system, which is definitely an advantage for newbie players. It also takes a lot of skill to get really good at it, though. So the playing field is fairly level when the game comes out, but I would get it soon because the SOCOM hardcores tend to get very, very good at the games very fast, and I'm sure after about a week I'm not going to be able to, do much against them. But it is good. You'll always find a place online where you have a good level of players to match you.
Well, while we're on the subject of the hardcore players, if I'm one of those guys, what are the big differences that I should expect to see compared to previous games in the series?
Right. So with this SOCOM, we've given you a few more options with the health, as I mentioned before. So there are regen options. Most of the hardcores tend to play with a pure elimination style, no respawn whatsoever. I think it's the main difference here is our partial cover system, which basically if you pick any cover in the world and you've got a target lock on someone, your character is going to auto-adjust the stance, which means that for the first time in a SOCOM multiplayer experience on the PSP, you really do get that idea of cover. So it's a little more difficult to take guys out.
Cool. What sort of persistency is there? Things that carry over one match to the other?
Well, the control scheme is always there. The game modes are generally, well, let me put it this way. The maps are very balanced across all the game modes. So once you learn the map, you're going to be able to play it, whether it's a tug of war where you're trying to get the control points or a demolition mode. Once you figure out the sort of areas you need to go to, the maps are consistent. And because SOCOM is such a team-based game, the better you learn the maps and the better your team strategy, the better you're going to do.
All right, Mike, looks like a lot of fun. I'm sure SOCOM fans are going to be very excited to finally get their hands on this game. When's the game going to be out, and is it PSP exclusive?
Yeah, absolutely exclusive for the PSP and the PSP Go. It's going to be out February 16th, and you can get it on UMD or you can download it from the PSN.
Michael, thank you very much.
Thanks very much.
You guys make sure that you stick around for the rest of the show because we, frankly, have a lot of SOCOM giveaways for you. The guys at Slant 6 were nice enough to drop off some of these tactical PSP cases. They've got really more pockets than I've ever seen in my entire life. It's pretty amazing. We've got some t-shirts here, and we've even got a copy of the game itself to give away, so make sure to stick around for that. And now on with the rest of the show.
All right, thanks for that, Sean. There's your look at SOCOM Navy SEALs Fireteam Bravo 3. Now it's time to check out what's happening on the Wii with This Week on the Wii Shop Channel.
This week on Wii Shop Channel. This week on WiiWare, get ready to shout Uno at your Wii. The popular card game is now on WiiWare with some new rules and support for up to 6 players. Play with your friends locally or go online. Uno is available for 1,000 Wii points. Puzzle games more your style? Then make some squares in Bitos Plus. Move and rotate puzzle pieces to make squares and squares within squares. There's multiple game modes, awards, and plenty of challenges to keep you playing. Bitos Plus can be yours for 800 Wii points. Also out this week is the hidden object game Aha! I Found It! Find specific objects among the crowds as fast as you can. With local multiplayer support for up to 4 players, 10 stages, and probably 278 objects to find, there's plenty of searching to be had here. All that for 500 Wii points. On Virtual Console, go back in time and get the ghosts out of history in Ghoul Patrol. A library's goblin exhibit has come to life, leaving you to vaporize garbage can ghosts, dodge flying books, and put history back to normal. Ghoul Patrol also supports 2 players and is available for 800 Wii points. This week on DSiWare, put your reflexes to the test in Air Ace's tunnel. Maneuver your aircraft through tunnels that are full of traps. You'll be speeding up as you pass through each barrier, making each one need a faster response than the last. Air Ace's tunnel is available for 200 DSi points. And finally, there's the action-packed Escapee Go. Assume the role of Claire, who awakens with no memory of who she is. But that's okay because now she's got superpowers. Use your special abilities to escape from unknown enemies chasing you. Escapee Go supports up to 4 players and is available for 200 DSi points. That's all for this week. Tune in next time for the latest This Week on Wii Shop Channel.
Okay, now you're all caught up with what's happening on the Wii. We're going to go to an on location first, but before I do that, I want to mention if you're in the San Francisco Bay Area and you want to check out some awesome Tekken 6 fighters, check out NorCalStrongStyle.com. They're putting together a tournament this weekend, some of the best Tekken 6 players around, including guys apparently from Japan and Korea are going to be there. It's been put together by a great Tekken player known as Bronson. So if you're in the area, you want to check out some Tekken 6, head down there. Or go to the website, find out all the details, Sean.
Sounds like fun?
Yeah.
You know what else is fun?
What?
Bad Company 2.
No, it's not.
Oh, what? How dare you say that? Just to prove you wrong, we are going to show a little Battlefield Bad Company 2 on location when DICE came by San Francisco last week to show it off. Let's have a look.
Hey everybody, we are here in San Francisco at the Horizon Bar where EA is about to finally take the wraps off of the single-player campaign in Battlefield Bad Company 2. Let's check it out. All right, so you're finally talking about something that people have been waiting for a really long time in Battlefield Bad Company 2. So what are you showing here today?
Well, this is the first time that we're showing something from the single-player campaign, and this is the time where people actually get to see that we do have the squads left in the game, that you do play as Preston Marlowe as you did in the first game. But you're also going to notice that there's a lot of things different in the single-player campaign around this time.
So, talk to us about the tone of the game, which is maybe a little bit different from what we remember in the original.
Yeah, you can see that the characters are still the same kind of characters. There will be a lot of banter and humor in between them in the dialogue, etc. But the actual scene of the story and the backstory is much more serious, and there's more things at stake for the squad themselves this time around. So there's going to be a bit more serious tone to it, and the whole backstory of the U.S. and the Russian superpower is about to clash in almost in a world war. That's it's a much more serious story.
So what led you to do that after the first game? Was it feedback from fans, or is it something that you guys felt like you wanted to do on your own?
It felt like the natural way to go down. I mean, to actually feel that we want to do something that's a more serious tone, and listening to the fans as well, it feels like that's the natural way to go. You can have humor, we want to have that kind of dialogue, etc. But when it comes down to it, we want to evolve the characters, but we also want to have an interesting stage for them to act upon, so to say.
All right, so talk to us about the levels that you guys are showing here tonight, because one of the big things about the game is that it's not just in one area anymore. We seem to have a bigger scale, right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the whole single-player campaign, and well, actually the multiplayer as well, takes place on the North American and the South American continent. The missions that we've shown here today is in the deeper part of the South American jungle. And if you take some time and actually play the next one as well, you'll see that there's more of a winter setting as well.
Now, you mentioned that tonight was about single player, but you didn't just leave it at that. You guys kind of surprised us with some multiplayer news, so talk to us about that.
Well, I mean, we've talked a lot about multiplayer so far. It's a Battlefield game. It has a heritage of coming from multiplayer. It's very important for us with the multiplayer. And the last things that we revealed here today was that we actually have a fourth mode called Squad Rush. It's a very small, tight and hectic game mode where you play one squad on one. One squad has to defend and one has to attack. And it's very fast-paced, it's very tactical, and it's very focused on team play in many ways. And the second thing that we also announced is that we have a hardcore setting in our game. So you can play all the 4 game modes that we have in the game with a specific setting that pretty much removes a lot of things from the experience. It means that the weapons are more deadly, there's less HUD elements, there's no minimap, you can actually team kill your friends. Well, it's much more serious and it's even higher, more high-paced, so to say.
All right, well, thank you, Carl. This was a nice little chunk of information about Battlefield Bad Company 2. Now, game obviously has some fans out there. Are there any other things that you want to let them know to look forward to? Because the game's not out for a while.
No, it's going to be coming out on March 2nd, so there's still some time for us to actually finish the game, but people should be looking forward for the PC Beta, of course. There's going to be more information coming out on that in the future, but I know that there's a lot of fans out there that are looking forward to that. And there's also going to be more information about the actual demos when those are going to be coming out on the console platforms.
All right, that's it for the quick look here in San Francisco on Battlefield, but that's not all. Thanks to Guy Cocker and the guys at GameSpot UK, we've got more on the game for you from DICE in Sweden, so be sure and check that out on the site.
Okay, it's time for our second demo of the day. This is White Knight Chronicles. Justin Calvert is here. Welcome.
Hey, Brian. How's it going?
Yeah,
good to see you.
Great, man. Thanks for being here. So, White Knight Chronicles, we've seen a lot of this game, but I haven't seen it personally. It's an RPG, though, right?
Yeah, it's pretty much just a Japanese RPG, but it does have some. It has some pretty unique kind of features and mechanics in it.
Okay.
So right now, you can see here, I'm in a group of 3 of us right now. The guy I'm controlling right now is Leonard, who's the main protagonist. And then I've got Yuli, who I've spec'd to be kind of the healer of my group, I guess. And then Justice, who's my doppelganger, who specializes in ranged attacks and
who bears
magic.
a striking resemblance to you.
By
design.
A little, by design. He's supposed to look like me. That's because, most of these all the characters here play a key role in the story except for Justice, because he's the character I've created.
Okay.
He's just a member of the party. What makes him different, though, is that if I group up online with different players, he's the only one I can use.
Okay.
So in speccing him, I've kind of tried to create a character, that's going to be useful in groups online. So like he has a little bit of healing, he does a bunch of range damage.
But in the single-player story, he's just one of the party, right?
Yeah, he's just kind of a hanger-on.
Can we take a look at him?
Yeah, let's...
There he is.
There's
that head.
What a guy.
Look at that.
Very handsome. So yeah, he just kind of hangs around, and honestly, like, you could go through the whole game and almost never use your character. He isn't the key player in the story, and when you get to boss fights and stuff, you have to use this guy.
I see.
Leonard, because he has this really crazy ability, which I will use unnecessarily right now.
On this gigantic... Oh, too late.
Okay, too late.
Well,
he's still trying to do it. Here we go. He's going to do it anyway.
Take this, corpse.
Yeah. So yeah, he's the guy who can transform.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and here we go. He's a lot. Oh, you kind of got a glimpse there.
Yeah,
he becomes a lot bigger.
Yeah. Well, I know. There's a lot to the online portion of this game, including the georama stuff. We want to take a look at that.
So yeah, real quick, we'll go into my georama here.
Okay. Now, what is this?
So this is, I won't go into the edit screen, but basically this is like a town that I've created, and using materials that I've collected in single player, which is some stuff is dropped by enemies, some stuff I find kind of foraging. You use those materials to build houses, build these little general stores, build an herb garden, that kind of stuff. And then these characters, these are NPCs that I've encountered in the single player game, and I've spoke to them and invited them to come live in my town.
Okay.
And because my town meets their criteria, then instantly, they just come and live here. And then what's cool about it is their presence here determines what you can buy at the general store in your town.
Okay.
So here you can see, I've got a lot of herbs and stuff here because, I have an herb garden and I have a farmer to work that garden. And what's cool is you can, once the game's online, which it isn't right now, but once the game comes online, you're going to be able to visit other players' towns as well. So what I'm guessing is that it's probably going to pay to maybe like have your town specialize in a certain thing. So maybe, if I fill my town with warriors, then maybe my town becomes like a kind of place for players to come when they want those rare, pieces of giants and dragons and stuff.
Nice.
But then if you start playing, maybe you like farming.
Right.
And so
I love farming.
Yeah, and so maybe you're going to, fill your town with farmers, and when I need a rare flower, I know where to go.
Well, there you go. That's the georama aspect, just one aspect of White Knight Chronicles, and what looks to be a pretty big game.
Yeah, it looks pretty crazy. I mean, the other thing we haven't been able to try yet is the online stuff, with a party of 4 players.
Right.
There are, I think, 50 different quests you can do in multiplayer, more coming after launch, apparently. So
a lot to find out, and the game's coming out soon, right?
Yeah, it comes out next week, February 2nd.
All right, February 2nd on the PlayStation 3. It's White Knight Chronicles. We'll all be playing online and building our towns up. Thanks, Justin, for being here.
Yeah, no worries.
All right, there you go. There's your White Knight Chronicles. Sean, something about that demo just didn't...
What? Was it the game? You didn't like
No,
the
it's not the game. The game, White Knight Chronicles
game looks good.
Yeah, it looks fine. Yeah. No problem there. I think it's really Justin.
Justin?
You know what I mean?
You know, I was thinking the same thing. Justin, great guy.
Great guy.
Great guy.
Smart.
One of the coolest people I know.
Well-spoken.
Handsome as all get out.
Yeah.
He's just not cute.
No, he's not cute. Not
He's just
at all.
not cute enough to generate the types of comments that we need.
We need comments.
If we want to surpass Sophia Tom.
And you and I brought it today in the hopes of getting comments.
I know.
Justin is working against us.
He's not helping our cause. Let's put it that way.
Anyway, we're going to try to work past it with the community spotlight. We got a whole bunch in this community spotlight. Stuff on emblems, editorial blog highlights. Jody's going to get you caught up. Check out the community spotlight right now.
Hey there, this is Jody Robinson, GameSpot's Community Manager. This week's Community Spotlight reveals the latest emblems, editorial staff highlights, and the Member Spotlight. GameSpotters are often on the hunt for emblems to spice up their GameSpot profiles. If you've been wondering how someone might have received an emblem you have your heart set on, then your first step should be to visit the How to GameSpot forum. Here you'll get some tips about how to get the latest emblems by simply participating in activities on the site. For example, the Reader's Choice 2010 Chooser emblem is granted to anyone who votes in the Best of 2009 feature. The Forza Paint Shop Union, established by Justin Calvert, hands out an emblem after scheduled race weekends. Avid listeners of the Hotspot are likely to receive the Homework emblem if they have the best submitted projects for the week. Lastly, we're hosting a Valentine e-card workshop that will grant a participation emblem to those who submit e-cards. While interaction in the community might be mostly from GameSpotters, the editors are also users, so if you haven't had a chance to get to know them yet, now is a great time. Here's a quick run-through of the latest blogs they have written. Ricardo Torres and Guy Cocker have written blogs to keep you up to date on the latest happenings behind the scenes at GameSpot and GameSpot UK. Luke Anderson has posted some pictures of Sony's United Kingdom MAG event. Sean McInnes shares thoughts about Modern Warfare 2, while Justin Calvert has been daydreaming about Star Trek Online. You can find a link to each blog by visiting our community blog. This week's Member Spotlight goes to Starduke for his blog about Dragon Age Origins. What makes his blog so interesting is that it's not just another blog about what's already been said about the game. Instead, he focuses on humor and also has some information about Secure ROM DRM. And we'd like to give a big shout out to our Mod of the Month, SpazX625. That's all for this week's Community Spotlight. This is Jody Robinson, signing off.
All right, thank you, Jody, for keeping us afloat in what's going on in the community. Now, I've been pretty busy myself. I had a look at Resident Evil 5 Gold Edition last week. That's got 2 brand new DLC episodes. Capcom was nice enough to throw us some footage for a new episode called Lost in Nightmares. I put together a video preview, so let's have a look at that one right now.
Wesker succeeds. Uroboros will be spread across the globe. Millions will die.
On March 9th, Capcom will release Resident Evil 5 Gold Edition. This collector's version of last year's hit Zombie Killer comes with everything from the original game, all the DLC released so far, plus 2 new story episodes, some new costumes, and an expanded version of Mercenaries mode. We got to play one of the new episodes, which Capcom is calling Lost in Nightmares. This 1.5 to 2 hour expansion tells the story of Chris Redfield and Jill Valentine leading up to the fight scene with Albert Wesker that presumably left Jill Valentine very dead at the bottom of a very tall cliff. Lost in Nightmares is sort of a throwback to older Resident Evil games. It takes place in Spencer Mansion, so the environments feel a lot like the first game in the series. Players take control of Chris and Jill as they maneuver through dank corridors and dimly lit rooms. Enemies are few and far between, but the ones there are quite powerful, which should make for some very tense experiences as you cautiously move through the mansion solving puzzles. Combine this vintage Resident Evil feeling with the co-op mechanics of RE5 and you've got what should make for a very interesting experience. You've got 2 options for getting Lost in Nightmares. You can either buy it February 17th for $5 or 400 Microsoft points, or wait until Resident Evil 5 Gold Edition arrives on March 9th for $50. Get that one, and you'll also be able to grab the other new episode, Desperate Escape. Keep an eye out for more coverage over the next few weeks.
We're in.
Let's move.
All right, well, thank you for that wonderful, beautiful, excellent, just all-around lovely video preview, Sean. I put that together in case you didn't know.
It was cute.
Yeah, it was good. I thought it was wonderful. Brian, as you can tell, the desk is just absolutely cluttered with giveaways today. We've
a whole bunch of stuff.
As we mentioned before, we've got these U.S. Navy SEAL tactical PSP cases where you can fit pretty much like a small child into them.
Yep.
We've got a copy of SOCOM Fireteam Bravo 3 for the PSP.
Yep.
We've also got a whole bunch of t-shirts that have this cool Soviet-Russian design on them. We've got a bunch of these.
But you're gonna have to work for it.
You've got to work for it because we've got some genuinely challenging questions for you guys. But that's not the only trivia.
Right.
Brian?
We've also got a copy of Star Trek Online. One copy that we'll be giving away for our Star Trek question. But first, let's hear the SOCOM question.
Yeah, let's go with the Fireteam Bravo question. Here's what I've got for you guys. What is the name of the former KGB agent who's believed to be withholding information about a WMD attack against Western interests? That's directly related to the plot line in Fireteam Bravo 3. So fire up the internet, do a little bit of research. If you've got an answer, use the answer trivia module on the page here, or send us an email to onthespot@gamespot.com. Brian, what's your question?
Trivia question is Star Trek related, as you might imagine, and the question is, in what position did Captain Picard serve when he named the Chancellor of the Klingon High Council? Again, we're playing for the SOCOM stuff, we're playing for a copy of Star Trek Online, so that's your trivia questions for today.
All right, Brian, we're obviously almost to the end of the show, but before we leave, there's just something that's been bugging me the whole time.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest with you, man. It smells in here.
What do you mean?
It smells awful. It smells like death warmed over. I have no idea what's going on. Brian, what's the deal?
I'll have you know, what you're smelling is me. It's called Drakkar Noir.
What? What?
It's how men are supposed to smell, Sean. One day you'll grow up and figure that out.
What kind of men are supposed to smell like that? Men who listen to Whitesnake and had feathered hair?
Whatever, dude. Whatever. Anyway, you know what? I'm gonna end this.
Okay.
Even though we both look really cute. But look, we had a great show. Thanks for being here. The news for you guys is that there's no Thursday show.
Okay.
The reason behind that is because we're doing a Now Playing for BioShock 2 on Friday. So we won't see you on Thursday, but be sure you're back here on Friday at 4 o'clock for a Now Playing of BioShock 2. Sean, thanks for being here. You look cute. And we'll see you guys on Friday.
I'm just kidding, Brian. You don't really smell. It smells nice.
This is like, ladies love this stuff.
They do, man. They're gonna eat it up.
They're gonna love it.
They're gonna really love it when they watch this video
attached
online.
to my face.
However, given the Gears games Xbox 360 balls, God damn it, so close.
I was working till 2 o'clock last night. I can't do this anymore.
Focus. I'm Tor Thorson. For the first.
Tune in this Saturday for Just Cause 2, Alien vs. Predator, and This Week on PlayStation Network.